That's what.
Wow, okay, I didn't
No,
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
so.
it's good. Are
They are, yeah, they're.
I did one. Corner. Ash Rose. Right at that.
All right, and especially I sense the staff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well-
that then review.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're just.
Yes, right. At this point, I have a little pair of borrowed that.
Well, my wife died with it, so she had to get it back. No patience. Hold up, but I'm trying to skills now.
Not the old one. Bigger.
Guys. Hey.
Yes.
I don't recognize it.
Hey,
But hey, here. Boy, now you're in. I know. Oh, jeez. And we're voting on.
Oh.
Over my back here.
Good for you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hi, Grant.
What's up, Vice President? Sorry. Yes.
Ian. I don't care how you identify.
Rob Star.
No, it's budget. Okay.
Pleased to meet you, Scott. Yeah.
And I'm Dave, nice to meet you.
You and Rob.
Steve, thanks for coming out.
Oh, not a problem.
I'm gonna give you my card and.
Oh, I have your card already. Yes, I do.
I'd like to get us.
Yeah, really good.
Oh, yeah,
You guys stay around or?
tomorrow, let's see.
Oh, just.
Are you available anytime tomorrow or?
They're with me.
Or-
You're good.
Oh,
Yeah.
I tell you what,
That was good.
this week is a little
Yeah,
wild.
it is.
That's fine.
Let me give you a call and say something.
Very good, sir.
Saw that.
Just send me a text.
Good deal.
Got your voicemail. I was in the middle of stuff and that, and I thought.
My grandson has-
So they for the house.
Yeah.
Down to
And so here's 6 days.
Yeah, we got.
Welcome aboard.
Yep, thank you.
Put it on the big
Look,
trailer.
I'm anxious to get started.
So we cranked 6 of us cranked it up.
Which- oh,
Tied it
sure.
down. Oh, yeah. I'll get it down.
You can't read it.
Let's get this one.
Oh.
So yeah, it's all. Like that, no, it's a good day to do it.
That's it.
You're great.
Well, it's not the deputy.
They don't
even know. They take care of that also. It's exhausting, but it's the perfect.
Yeah. I did the ride along with him up the mountain. That was great.
Nice area.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I will call the meeting to order at 6:31 P.M. Everybody please, rise to the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Play ball.
Don't see. That's right. Got it. That was nice. I forget.
Yeah. That was.
So roll call for the evening, we have in person, Counselor Mackin, Counselor Tycro, Counselor Peterson, and then Counselor Hover. And then on Zoom, we have Counselor Wilkins, and then absent, approved is Mayor Frank. And then I'm here as well.
Did you approve?
She approved herself.
Yeah.
And then, yes, I'm here as well. Thank you very much. Action item C, appearance of interested citizens. We have 2. So for public comment, In order, please come up to the podium, state your name and then your address, and then you'll have 3 minutes. Steve Hessling, please let me begin.
Good evening, Steve Hessling, 1153 Ash Street, Dayton, 97114. I have 3 minutes, so I'll try to make this brief as possible. I'm here to talk about our newest wastewater and water bill. And on the end of that, our safety fee or tax, I call it. Last summer, I met with Mr. Cottle, our city planner, city manager in that. And at that time, I was led to believe that the study that was done in 2021 was going to create a chart of ranges of water usage, which would then correspond to wastewater fees and that. As it stands now, a family of 2 pays the same wastewater fee as a family of 6. What's wrong with this picture? My wife and I don't crap that much, okay? We don't put that much down the sewer. Water usage, we went from 44.87 per 200 cubic feet per month as a baseline billing to a rate of 67.56 per month for 544 cubic feet per month. If you look at the costs in that, the cost that you're buying water in the old rate was little over 22.3 cents per 100 cubic feet. The rate or the cost for treating the new is down to 12.4 cents per 100 cubic feet. I'm starting to look at this and I say, what are our costs? How much does it cost to treat the water we're bringing down off the hill through the springs and into our water system? Did our water treatment costs go down that we can afford this? Or are we hoping that we just looking at the revenue side of it and not the cost side of it? We need to get a good grasp and a good fix on what it costs us to treat our water. We also need to get a good grasp on what does it cost to treat our wastewater and bill accordingly. Now, I know going into the wastewater fees is also I'm going to call it the surcharge because of the past infrastructures, deferred maintenance that we all had to catch up with. And that was $8 million loan we had to take out or something like that. It was a big number. Okay. And a lot of that, I understand. We had to update the wastewater system, the lift station. Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
you're okay.
No, I was just going to say the wastewater system or Palmer Creek, the lift station there, the bridge, which supports the pipeline going to the settling ponds and that. I'm asking for a little transparency because all of a sudden it was, boom, here's your new rate. Live with it. I'm sorry. I can't accept that. And then the last point I'd like to make is I understand as a municipality, we can charge and establish fees. Other towns do it and that, but it seems to me this public safety fee, wasn't that a part of the referendum that we passed? What is it, 23 or 24? We had to update it because it was expiring. And so they had to update that referendum, that tax referendum. I can't recall. What happened? Then we do our budgeting properly that now all of a sudden, and because we're slow to market, now we have to double up in January through June in order to make up for the last 6 months that we drug our feet and didn't get there. We got to do a little bit better job of communicating a lot of this and get a little more transparency because frankly, older folks who are on fixed incomes, if these rates keep going up, you're going to drive them out of the community. Since the state does not have any homestead tax exemptions and that. And, who's gonna wanna come here and pay exorbitant rates for wastewater and water and well, electricity and that. They look at McMinnville, they look at Lafayette, they look at Amity and that, and then they look at Dayton and they say, why should I live there? If the cost of living or
About the specifics.
I never looked,
Yeah.
when I came here, I didn't look for the council to make a decision, say, you know, you're right.
Right.
We're gonna change this and that. No. All I'm saying is that when we come time for the budgeting and I hopefully I'm tapped to work on the wastewater and the water rates and that and budgeting. I have a lot of years of budgeting experience. Having been in industry, millions of dollars in budgets and that, and you can't budget without knowing your costs. In that, and I don't think we have a firm grasp of that. Okay,
Thank you, Steve.
thank
Appreciate it.
you.
Madam Drew, your turn.
And I had the same concerns as he did.
Name and address for the record, please.
Oh, Linda McGrew, 734 Southeast Palmer Lane in Dayton. I had the same as he does with the water rates and the safety. I call it safety tax too, because I really feel that we shouldn't be paying that extra tax without taking it to the voters. I pay quite a bit in taxes on my house and my other properties for the city of Dayton. And that includes sheriff. It includes school, fire. And so by the time you're taxed so much on all this stuff, it gets pretty, on a fixed income, it gets pretty spendy. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and I don't know if it's gonna run out of time, but I own some property on Ash Road. And it's 12 acres. My neighbor has 8.9 acres. We had a buyer for it. And they withdrew because the city said that it could be a long time before there was any kind of annexation into the city. And that was not what I was told during the meeting at the county commissioners. And I advocated for the land swap. I'm looking at maybe doing something different with my land now. Because between me and Harold Lyons, we lost $5,250,000. And we're not getting any younger. And I noticed that the last meeting I was at, that you voted on doing the wells out there. And the city employees are not the ones doing it. You've hired it out. Same way with the pump station down here off of Palmer Lane. The city of Dayton didn't do it. They hired it out. And the state of Oregon is offering, they have $10 million for grants to different cities to upgrade their systems. The realtor I had before wrote a grant for the city, and it was presented to Jeremy. But he said that you guys couldn't really do that until you get this water thing out here done. Well, if you're not doing the water thing, at least apply for the grant. So that way, we can look down the road and say, okay, when is our property gonna get annexed in? If the city is not planning on doing it for 6 to 20 years, at least the different meetings I've been to, then I'm gonna do something else with my property. And Harold Lyons is probably gonna go right along with me. So that's 20.9 acres. So I just I'm gonna have to hire an attorney and go to the county to get it rezoned. Right now the city doesn't have any zoning area. It's zoned F10. So if I go to the county and get it rezoned to commercial because of the 50 acres next door, and I've heard rumors about the county wanting it for the fairgrounds and upgrading the airport and all that. So I can't afford for the city to sit on it. And the reason is because I'm gonna be 67. I'm paying taxes out on it and electric and water, for the water and all that. And both me and Harold both have wells on our properties. He actually has 2 wells.
And a little low on time, just as a heads.
So anyway, I just wanted to find out from the city, what they're planning on doing, because I haven't really heard anything except years. And because that tells me whether or not I need to go to the county.
Great
So,
questions, thank you. I can't comment on specifics at this moment, but we can get back to you.
okay.
Okay, thank you, Linda, appreciate it.
Oh, there is one other thing. By the school, between the Pirates Den and the high school, is a pothole. And I've hit it several times because you can't see it at night. But I've checked on it and the city's responsible for that pothole. And if it ruins someone's tires or wheel, because it's getting pretty deep.
So the intersection there of Ferry and then
Just-
right between.
Just when they turn the corner, probably
Very nice, thank you.
8th Street.
Yeah, Eighth Street, perfect. Thank you, Lynn, appreciate that. Jeremy, you logged that?
Yep.
Perfect. Alrighty, so that is the conclusion of the appearance of interested citizens. We'll be moving on to the consent agenda, item D. Before we get into the financial statement and the regular session minutes, there's a note of a change to tonight's meeting agenda. The executive session will be postponed until January 20th. To reiterate, the executive session will be postponed until January 20th. So we can strike through that for this evening. So moving on to the financial statement.
I'll have to apologize, I should probably notes, there were, couple of areas in the general fund that Jeremy and I were looking at because, they are over budget. In particular, there was, in the Parks Department. There's a janitor, and I know we've talked about it before, but, we're gonna have to, do some budget changes. I think what's happening is, at least for the janitor, that it's going in the wrong, according to the budget, it's not going into the right account. So we're gonna have to move some budget or move that to fix that. But the general fund as a whole is okay. And so are all the other funds, from a budget standpoint. I am also gonna be looking a little bit at, the transit lodging tax fund. I'm just gonna be reviewing it, because if you look at what came in last year to what's coming this year, we would only get about 80% of what we budgeted for. So I'm gonna review that and make sure that, that the people who are supposed to file have filed. So,
Okay. Any questions? Great. Thank you. Anything else on the financial statement for the month? Cool. Moving on to the regular session minutes for, can we do them all bulk, Jeremy, or do you do one at a time? Can we do bulk?
Yes.
So for November 3rd, November 20th, and December 1st, does anybody have any questions or corrections with regards to the regular session minutes? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Council President, I move to approve the consent agenda, which includes minutes from November 3rd, November 20th, and December 1st, and our financial statements as of November 25.
Excellent.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilor Mackin and a second by Councilor Hover. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Motion carries. All right, so moving on to the public hearing. City Council will hold a public hearing to obtain public comment on proposed findings for an exemption from competitive bidding requirements per ORS 279C.335 parentheses 2 for certain improvement contracts. The purpose of the public hearing is to provide an opportunity for any interested party to appear and comment on the city's proposed findings for an exemption from competitive bidding requirements under ORS 279C.335 parentheses 2 for certain public improvement contracts related to the city's supervisory control and data acquisition in parentheses SCADA systems. The proposed exemption would authorize the city to enter into a master procurement and installation contract with the future SCADA related public improvement projects with a consultant designated as the city's integrator of record. The exemption would allow the city to issue task orders under the master contract for the procurement, installation, and integration of SCADA system components without separate competitive bidding for each individual project. I will open the public hearing at 6:52 PM. And then we'll wait for 2 minutes unless you're public comment.
I don't have anything.
Okay, we'll leave it open for another minute or two and then we'll go from there.
This data. Supervisory and control and data acquisition.
Yeah, I was 50/50 on the production, so I went ahead and went with the letters.
It's those fancy computers they use to control systems.
Steve Essling, 1153 Ash Street.
We need to sign up first.
I can,
Go ahead. Okay, perfect.
okay, I can sign up that.
Process. And there is no 3-minute requirement for public comment in this, correct?
Right.
Perfect. We'll just see you got the floor for a moment.
I would just like to say, why not? Or why do we want to eliminate SCADA? For competitive bids? Why do we want to do away with it? From a standpoint of, isn't that? Don't we always want the best cost? For any kind of service performed for the city and given to the city? My fear as a taxpayer is that if you get how would you say, if you get a vendor who is into you, you get comfortable with them, and you never know if you're getting the best bid and the best value. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. You have public comment? Okay. We will close the public hearing at 6:54 PM. Jeremy, is there discussion on this at this moment in time?
No, that'll be under that action item, so it's gonna be action item number 2.
Action two heard. All right, so we move into the action items, item F1, council president election. Jeremy, you take it over.
Pages?
Oh, sorry, this is page 87.
Seven.
You need a copy? Or you got it?
No,
Oh, okay, gotcha, cool, just wanna make sure. Oh, you, Jeremy.
According to the city charter, at the first meeting every year, the council is required to elect a president from among its membership. The job of the council president is to fill in for the mayor in her absence, such as tonight. So we have. Explain the process for you.
So I printed out some voting strips, with your name on it. You will nominate someone for council president. If there's more than one nomination, we will do a vote. You'll write in your vote, you will send them over to me, and then I will tally them and give the totals.
would you like us to do that now?
You can make your, first make a nomination, and then
Permission, I'd like to nominate Drew. Council Hitchcock for to continue in his current role.
Send me a second.
does it need a second?
Any other nomination? All right, write your votes down and pass them to your left.
Do we need to?
I think we still have to just for procedural.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just for the record.
Would have been inherently less awkward if I was sitting one seat to the right.
Awkward, then.
Equally awkward. Equally awkward. Oh, man. That's very awkward.
Mickey Mouse.
Unanimous. You are the council president.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for the nomination. Appreciate it. Let's move on. So item F2, approval of resolution 2025/26-11. A resolution adopting findings to support an exemption from competitive bidding requirements per ORS 279C.33. Parentheses 2 for certain improvement contracts. Jeremy, do you want to give some background on this?
I'll be happy to. So we've been talking about this since August. The city currently does not have a system integrator of record. The integrator of record is a consultant, much like our engineer, attorney, professional services, a skilled person who provides a certain service. And as an integrator of record, their job is to manage, update, and maintain our supervisory control and data acquisition, SCADA, and the telemetry systems, telemetry or the radio systems, where if we had, like our system out of the water, at the wastewater plant with the PRV, pressure release valve, that has an antenna that connects with our water treatment plant, that our crews can pull up on their phones and operate the plant. For those of you who've done that facilities tour, the SCADA are those computers that have the different diagrams, the different schematics of the system, where we can change different settings, we can turn things on and off. They also interact with the programmable logic controllers, which are the computers that have sensors in it to test for certain chemicals, to dispense certain chemicals, so that it automates the plant. So we're not having to have somebody there 24 hours a day. So the integrator of record builds those systems and they manage those systems, and it takes a very specific skill set to do that. So since August, we've had numerous meetings with our legal counsel and our engineer on the best way to have an integrated record. And there's no straightforward way to do what we want to do under state law. What we want to do is we want to have one firm that can both maintain our system and build new systems. In other words, we don't want to have different firms building a patchwork system, because these components are proprietary. The software programming is proprietary. And if we have different firms coming in, building different parts of the system, there's a very real risk that they're not going to be interoperable, especially over time. So we want to have, it's to our advantage as a city to have one firm to come in and provide these services with us. So the state law has a provision where we can have an exemption from the normal procurement processes. Otherwise, we would have one firm that would do the maintenance. We would issue that under a request for proposals. And then for any public contracting work, we would have to bid those out separately. So then we would start having this patchwork system with different vendors coming in there. So to do what we want to do, to competitively select one firm to both maintain and build, we have this exemption before the council tonight under the state rules having to do with procurement exemptions. And the resolution has findings that demonstrate why this is in the city's best interests, not only in terms of having a system that's interoperable, but also getting the best value for the city as well. So if you look at Exhibit A, it goes into great detail about process that we're gonna follow will not result in favoritism. It will not result in diminished competition. It talks about how there will be substantial cost savings. And there are factual bases to support additional findings, such as the public benefits that we'll grant from this. For example, a single integrated record reduces risk of communication failures, improves system resilience, enhances cybersecurity, and ensures rapid troubleshooting. Talks about likely increases in public safety, reducing risks, better enable the city to control the impact that market conditions may have. These are all from the state law. So if we want to approve an exemption, we need to touch on each of these. And those are specifically mentioned in the state law. So the resolution, if approved, states that this procurement method is valid based on your specific findings. And then after that resolution, we have a lot of contract documents. Okay, so the first thing is the request for proposal. This is going to be a competitive process, and it's going to be a structured process. And the request for proposal.
Can I interrupt, Jack?
Go ahead.
With your permission.
Please.
So the request for proposals, when we say we need this done, somebody bids for it, right? So that falls under the umbrella of the integrator of record.
Say that again.
So the request for the proposal is basically us saying to the world, we need this done. Right?
Yes, we need an integrated record.
Right. So the integrator of record because I've looked at this thing in great detail. I read all of pretty much, as much as I can remember with all the legal language, right? So the integrator of record is a common enough occurrence in the city throughout, Oregon and
Yes.
the states in general. So, because when I looked at this, I thought, what is the integrator of record and all that? And I don't want to get long-winded, so
No, you're good, you're good.
So I just wanted a brief clarification. So the integrator of record forms an umbrella over all the SCBA stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so the advantage is being continuity and that kind of thing, right? And there's some cost savings associated with it.
Correct.
Could you say where those cost savings would come from in that type of program? Because we're gonna have to pay the integrator of record, I assume.
Yes.
Do you think that the savings, what specifically would be the savings and would they be enough to overset the cost of the integrator of record?
So the savings come from having one firm doing both the maintenance and the construction part. So there are two aspects, and that's covered under the different contracts in here.
Right.
So if we have one firm building one part of the system, another firm building another part of the system, we're having to pay extra costs now to bring two different firms in to create new codes to patch on top of that, so these two completely different systems can talk to each other now.
Mhm.
So
So we're still talking about the continuity part.
yes,
So we're insinuating savings, but we don't have any way to say, yes, we will save, because you could make the argument that those separate contracts might be cheaper than going through the integrator of record and having everything tied in together. We just don't know whether that's a savings or not. We're just assuming that. I think it's a great idea for the continuity of the system, especially if we have a dedicated system like we do. So we need people who are trained specifically. The components need to be specific components and all that kind of thing. I just want to make sure that, for the public, that we understand how can we quantify, other than just saying continuity, the cost savings and the effectiveness for Dayton to take on a project of this nature. We don't know exactly what an integrator of record is going to cost us either at this point, do we?
so I am required under section 3 of this resolution, and this is requirement under state law. Within 30 days of our acceptance of the last improvement contract under the master procurement and installation contract, I am to prepare a post-project evaluation that does exactly what you say, so that we can
Okay, cool.
demonstrate to the public that we got our value for our money.
Beautiful. Thank you. That was my question. I mean, it's like buying used cars.
Yeah.
Done. So, thank you.
Absolutely.
It's a really great question, and the fact that you brought up the state requirement too, it's, you know, I think a lot of the times it's one thing. Not that any of us would say anything and not follow through, I think we all tend to follow through, but, you know, it's one thing for someone, just a general person to like say something and then like. You trust that person who you may or may not have ever talked to follow through, but like to mention, it's like, hey, no, this is under state law, this is a requirement, like there is no. Not following through on that, like that's good for everybody to hear as well, of like, hey, no, there's some meat to back this up too.
And we'll know what the brass tacks are, because that's really
Yeah.
what I want to know, the data. I want
Yeah.
to see what the data's gonna say. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Well said, Jimmy, then we'll ask. Any other questions? Councilman Mack?
Want to make sure I understand. Now, we are gonna put out a request for proposal, make sure we get a good company up front. But then we're gonna save the money. We're gonna go back to that company as opposed to having to spend the time to recruit new companies for every new project. And this is only, this isn't everything in the city. This is just gonna be for this one particular project. Connected to this. Water treatment, is it?
So basically, anything that could require SCADA or PLC.
Oh, okay.
So I'll give you a little bit more detail. If you go to page 261. 261. This provides a system overview. And page 261 onwards describes current and future needs that we'll expect the integrator to provide. So under the terms of the contracts, whoever we select will have an initial 5 years. And then there's an option to renew for 2 additional 5-year terms for a potential total of 15 years.
And this is at the job of the integrator at record.
Correct.
And he will also be working with our master contract too, which is a beautiful document in itself.
Yes.
So he's not gonna be making contracts himself. He's gonna be initiating contracts for the city that we've already established, and if anybody had the time to wade through that master contract, it's a work of art. I really enjoy that. Very thorough, yeah.
It's had a lot of protective language in it.
For what we paid in attorney's fees, I should hope someone.
Yeah, but we'll get it back on the back end of it.
So for the purpose of clarification, for, you know, anybody listening, what you were saying earlier for like the equipment and things like that, if we didn't have the integrator of record, we would have to go out to bid for pretty much everything, right? So in this, we're talking about 59 different bids that we would not have to make for equipment. And then there's 39 different control telemetry and SCADA, well, actually, sorry, 39 different control telemetry and SCADA equipment. And then 59 equipment systems directly controlled, monitored by local control systems of the site. So 59 things to monitor, 39 things to bid. Essentially is what we're reducing from one.
But am I wrong in thinking that that the integrator of record is actually gonna be taking bids in his own time? When he has projects that he's overseeing, is this true? He's not just gonna make a determination, he's gonna get various different involved parties to offer a bid prior to.
No, they'll do the work. They have the shop and the
Oh, I see.
equipment and
Okay,
the
got it.
expertise.
Right, okay. So they're gonna be our contractors as well?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
There may be some things that they have to bid out, like certain antenna work,
Mhm.
but they have electrician staff, programming staff. So they have, whoever we select will most likely have the technical expertise in the radio shop and everything to do most everything in-house.
So is it gonna be confined to a budget that we oversee ourselves as the city?
Absolutely.
And so we'll determine what their budget is and run it by everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when we issue task orders, the budget for the task will be defined in that task order. When we issue
Right.
contracts, the same thing.
We review those?
Yes. My spending authority only goes up to 50,000, so anything over that needs to come to me.
That's chump change.
It can be.
When we're talking about the kind of problems Dayton has, that's pretty minimal.
Any other questions, comments? Perfect. On page 90, there is a potential motion. Somebody wish to make one?
Yeah.
Councilor Peterson, please first.
I move to approve resolution number 2025/26-11. A resolution adopting findings to support an exemption from competitive bidding requirements and authorizing the use of a competitive request for proposal solicitation for a consult to serve as the city's integrator of record, declaring such exemption and authorization a process to award two contracts to the selected consultant.
I second.
All right, so I have a motion from Councilor Peterson and a second from Councilor Tycro. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That was a large motion. Action item 3, approval of resolution 2025/26-14. A resolution authorizing the city of Dayton to apply for a LGGP from OPRD of the rehabilitation of Alderman Dog Park and delegating authority. Page 271.
273.
No. 271. Jimmy?
I'll toss this over to Dave.
So, this has been brought to your attention and discussed it, but the LGGP grant, both is the grant that we use for, doing our Parks Master Plan. That was, we were awarded a planning grant at that time, a year and a half ago. What we're looking to do is apply for a small grant, which is, anything $100,000 or less. We've received already a bid on this project in cooperation with the local company. But first of all, we need to get the funds to be able to do it. In order to do that, requires applying for a grant from, the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department. So, they are opening that up here soon. I just found out the other day that the only delay is that the administrator is retired as of the end of this past year. So the good news is that means that this existing application from this past season or past year is probably gonna be the one used again, and so we're working on it from that perspective. We'll put something together upon their approval.
Any
Mr.
questions?
Mayor,
Please.
so what was the bid for that? What was the one bid that we have so far?
72,000, I think, overall. The original, the retail cost on it was 83.
And that was for a paving a circle inside.
And the parking
And the
lot
parking lot.
and the entrance to the bridge on the east side.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Nice. Any questions, comments? Alright.
Yeah, I am still concerned about wheelchair access to the playground in Courthouse Square Park. Obviously, we have to wait at least another year. I'm going to ask the city to please see if there isn't something we can do in the meantime. Kids can't get into the playground, if you're in a wheelchair, you can't get in there, and
For purpose of clarification, we're talking about Alderman, not
oh,
Courthouse
I
Square.
am talking about, well, I am saying.
this though is Alderman, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know we're talking about the
Cool,
grand.
just making sure,
Park,
making sure, yeah.
and we're prioritizing a dog park over access to a playground for children.
I see.
Since we're going for the grant for the dog park, I'm gonna ask the city to do something, even if it's low tech, low cost. The kids need to get into the playground at Courthouse Square Park. So, please consider that. I've been talking about this for several years now.
Was there a comment?
Sorry, we were talking about the use of chips as being ineffective for wheelchair friendly.
You're right. Chips They keep settling and now we have,
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well said, kid, thank you. All right, is there a motion for approval or any amendment? Please.
I move to approve resolution 2025/26-14. A resolution authorizing the city of Dayton to apply for a local government grant from the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department of the rehabilitation of Alderman Dog Park. And delegating authority to the Tourism and Economic Development Director to sign the application. That should be for, not of.
A second.
A motion from Counselor Hoover and then a second from Counselor Wilkins, all in favor?
Would we approve with amendments if we change it up to 4?
Is it that nuanced for you?
It's not a, is it at the title instead of alderman for alderman? Or
Yeah.
it's not a big, it's not changing any of the substance, it's just changing the title.
Or, okay, approved, as recommended. Motion carries. All right, action item 4, approval of grant agreement number WPG D 0020 with the Oregon Water Resources Department in the amount of $1,218,750, page 275.
Requesting council approval tonight of a contract with the Oregon Water Resources Department. This is for the grant funding that the state legislature appropriated to us for the Fisher Farms Wells Development Project. The deadline to spend the funds is June 30, 2027. This will be for the construction phase of the project. Right now, we're going through the permitting phase with the Oregon Health Administration. That process is currently underway. I also want to bring to your attention that OWRD staff informed me that state budgeters had directed them to identify cuts to their general fund appropriations and that our grant had been identified as a potential area of cut, up to $200,000. We'll know in the spring, once the legislative session gets underway. For the time being, our legislative delegation is aware of this, and they've stated that they'll advocate as best they can for us. I also want to note that we are endeavoring to do design and permitting and construction in parallel to the extent possible, so we can spend as much of this money as we can, considering the tight deadline. For instance, we got some water tests for methane, and that can inform the process to start designing those methane strippers so we can get them ordered considering the lag time. So we're gonna try to do as much as we can in parallel.
Was that the end of it?
Yep.
Okay, quick question if I may begin. I just want to confirm, since Representative Sharp was one of our biggest advocates for this, that we have been in contact with her office on, the importance of this program and this project and just making sure that we've kind of just reiterated our commitment to work with her office in that support and coordination.
Yes, and to her credit, she actually reached out herself
That's
to our
awesome.
mayor and to me.
Nice. That's great. That's really great. Cool. You love to see it.
Those are lobbyists?
No, this is our representatives.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's really been an advocate for this project. It's been really cool. Cool. Any questions, comments? Okay, I will entertain a motion.
if I may.
Please.
I move to approve grant agreement number WPG D-0020-25 with the Oregon Water Resources Department in the amount of $1,218,750 and to authorize the mayor and the city manager to sign.
Second.
A motion from Counselor Mackin and a second from Counselor Cover. All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Motion carries. On to action item 5, approval of resolution 2025/26-15, accepting OWRD and OVGD grants, making appropriations and authorizing expenditure of funds for ORS 294.338 in parentheses 2, page 295. Jeremy.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. This resolution appropriates the grant funding, the contract for which council just approved. It also accepts grant and appropriates grant funding that we received from the Business Oregon for the Fisher Nursery Well Development Feasibility Study. Ordinarily, the local budget law requires a supplemental budget to increase our budget and increase revenues. There is an exception for special purpose grants, and both of those are specific purpose grants. I also want to note that the Business Oregon funding also included loan financing. So you will see at a future meeting a supplemental budget to accept that financing and increase the budget appropriately.
Question.
I move to approve resolution 2025/26-15, a resolution accepting specific purpose grants, making appropriations and authorizing expenditure of funds pursuant to ORS 294-338, 2 in parentheses of the local budget law.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Counselor Tycro and a second from Counselor Mackin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, action item 6, approval of resolution 2025/26-16, a resolution adopting an executive session news media attendance policy, page 299. Jeremy?
As noted in my staff report, this resolution was prepared by our city attorney and provided by her. We currently don't have a policy in place for news media attendance and executive sessions. If approved, that's what this resolution would establish.
Questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, please. I move to approve resolution 2025/26-16. A resolution adopting an executive session news media attendance policy.
Second.
A motion from Counselor Dover, a second from Counselor Tycro. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I like her detail on this,
Yeah.
it's really well. Really helpful.
Action item 7, planning commission application review and appointment, page 307. Jeremy? Go ahead.
So we have some vacancies in the planning commission. We did advertise at in the Fair Street News and in the newspaper, and we received an application. Oh, wait, this one's. Planning commission, yes, okay, sorry. So we did receive an applicant for the planning commission. His name is Michael Howard, and I believe he, no? Not you, okay. Okay. He's not here tonight, but his application is before you for review and an appointment, if that's what you wish.
I have a question. On his application, he says, I don't have a vision, but I do have a mission, and I would really have liked to ask him, what is your mission?
Mhm.
Mhm.
That feels like something he should have written on the M. Because that's a little big. A little scary,
Yeah, it could be construed as a negative and
Absolutely.
negative comment.
so. Meaning he has an agenda, to me, it means I have an agenda and I'm gonna go my way. Maybe I'm reading it more negative than it is, but I would like to have had more detail on his application.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that real fast. The only thing, I always like to see, you know, applicants come in person to chat with us if we are to appoint them to the position. B, you know, I do like on here that there is past budget committee experience, that's nice. But if, you know, needs to be done, see above, like. Three of the four, you know, answers aren't really giving anything, and then the only of the four questions that has an answer is I do not have visions, I have missions. It's like I don't have enough data there personally, especially not being able to chat with the person. You know, if somebody's in charge of our planning code, which will set things for decades to come, you know, obviously there's checks and balances with that, but if they're gonna be reviewing things that, you know, will be impacting the city of Dayton for, you know, years, decades, centuries in the future, then, you know, I want to at least be able to chat with the person. So, that's just my personal opinion. Councilman Melody.
I was a little underwhelmed. Why do you want to serve needs to be done?
Yeah.
2 or 3 other questions, see about.
Yeah.
This is something the mayor does with permission of the council. So I'm gonna recommend we do not make the decision tonight. Um,
And leave, I guess, leave the application period open.
I'm not sure exactly where to go, but can we just say we are not gonna make the appointment tonight?
Absolutely.
Okay, I would recommend that.
May I say something?
Please, yeah.
Is there any way to reach out to this applicant and ask if he could please provide us with a little more information?
Is that possible?
I'd be happy to do that, so, well, Mr. Council President, if I may, would the council like us to go out and solicit more people, or ask Mr. Howard just to come back and give more detail? How would you like us to handle
Both.
Both, we got 2 seats, right?
it?
Yeah,
Okay,
there are 2 seats open.
Please, my concern with, it's a five-person committee, 2 are vacant now, and so if he comes in, he really has a big impact, 25% of the committee.
Yeah.
So I would like to be a little bit more reassured of what his intentions are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's
And more applicants would be great.
okay.
if there are any available.
Yeah, I think at minimum, make it to a meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, come chat. with us.
Can a city council member apply for that position? I don't think so.
Good question. Okay, cool. Do we need to make a motion on that, or is guidance enough?
I don't believe you need to take any action. What I've heard is good.
I'll
good
look
for me.
at this.
Okay, cool, then do that. So that is action item 7. We're moving on to action item 8, budget committee application review and appointment, page 311. There,
Turn this over our city recorder.
So budget committee, we have currently 3 vacancies. We went out in the News Register and the Prairie Street News with advertisement for these positions. And we received an application from Charles Van Genderen, who is here. So if you have any questions for him, he's available. And his application is before you for review and appointment if you wish.
yeah,
I would just like a brief statement from the.
Exactly.
President.
Charles, would you mind coming up to this podium? for us?
Mr. Council President, members of the council, staff. For the record, I'm Charles Van Genderen. I applied for this opportunity. I read it in the First Street News, and I applied because I thought it was part of my responsibility to give back. I spent a career in government, managed very complex funding sources and budgets directly, while also establishing budgets, defended those budgets in front of legislatures, dealt with earmarked funding sources, capital budgets, operations budgets, grants, And just thought I would throw my name out there to be part of the solution.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Very
Any,
good.
while Charles is up here, any questions?
Where in Montana did you live? Out from there?
I lived in Helena.
My
Yeah.
sister lives in Helena.
Okay, great. Yeah.
I think this. Gig will, though it's complicated, I don't think it's gonna be as complicated as the state park director of Montana. Thank you. Qualified.
Probably be easier to answer to than Smokey, you know.
Been there.
Well, again, the mayor's not here, but I have to say, I like this one. The background, you already understand budgets and. Yeah. Mr. Hessling is gonna be learning some stuff here about just what we do with our budget. It's gonna be an interesting ride, I can tell you that. But, so, yeah, I would, this kind of excited me, really, having that kind of background. So,
On that, I will entertain a motion,
May I?
please.
I move to appoint Charles Van Genderen to the City of Dayton Budget Committee for the term ending December 31, 2027.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Counselor Pearson and then a second from Counselor Mackin. All in favor?
I,
And thanks for showing up, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Very much
Thank you very
so.
much. Motion carries. Welcome to the committee.
Careful what you wish for.
No, but it's serious. I mean, like this is one of the most, some would very, justifiably say the most important things we do in any given year. And so thank you very much for participating. Okay, so anything else on action item 8, Jeremy, before we continue? Wasn't sure if there's anything to wrap up the appointment or if.
No, I just note for our 2 new budget committee members, I'll be reaching out to you to schedule some time for us to have a orientation. Welcome aboard.
Good, thank you.
Did we officially appoint Steve already?
We did.
Okay, cool, just wanna make sure. No, I just wanna make sure we have to do it in an official capacity. I'm not against it, Steve.
We changed our mind.
I'm so excited to have you. But I was just like, I was missing something and I was like, just wanted to cross my T's and dot my I's, so,
I
okay,
think
cool.
it happened right after the budget finished last year.
You know what, you're right, you're right.
August.
You were
Okay,
the
cool.
first one to fill the spot.
That's what it was, okay, cool, just wanna make sure. Okay, so on to action item 9, the second reading and adoption of ordinance 668, amending the City of Dayton Comprehensive Plan, adopting the 2025 Transportation System Plan, and amending Title 7 Dayton Land Use and Development Code of the Dayton Municipal Code, page 315. You're gonna turn it to you?
Nothing to add.
Perfect. I'll entertain a second reading.
All right, if I may.
Councilor Micah?
I gotta find it. Second reading. Okay, I recommend, wait. All the way up, okay.
So you'll read the title of the
An
ordinance?
ordinance, okay. Ordinance 668. An ordinance amending the City of Dayton Comprehensive Plan, adopting the 2025 Transportation System Plan, and amending Title 7 Dayton Land Use and Development Code of the Dayton Municipal Code.
By title only, is that all we have to read?
And then we'll need a motion.
That's not bad.
It technically says approval of first reading, but it's gonna be second reading within the motion. Counselor Tyker?
I move to approve the second reading. Right,
Mhm.
of the ordinance 668 by title only.
The second? Perfect. I have a motion from Counselor Tyker, a second from Counselor Peterson. All in favor?
Alright, so it'll require one more reading before we adopt, is that the idea?
I think next is the adoption.
Next is
Yeah,
the
okay, that's
adoption.
what I thought.
Motion carries. Yeah. On to action item 10.
Oh,
No, we saw.
adopt,
Oh,
yes.
thank
One
you.
more motion.
Sorry, I was thinking next meeting is the adoption. Okay, cool. So next motion is as follows. I will entertain a motion.
May I?
Please.
I move to adopt ordinance 668, an ordinance amending the city of Dayton comprehensive plan. Adopting the 2025 transportation system plan. And amending Title VII. Dayton Land Use and Development Code of the Dayton Municipal Code.
A second. I have a motion from Counselor Hover, a second from Counselor Mackin, all in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we're on to action item 10, OLCC annual renewal report, page 321.
Here, I may need to recuse myself from this part of it because of being an OLCC staff member over at the bypass.
Or,
At an actual OLCC establishment, so.
thank you for letting me know, appreciate that. Counselor Wilkins can still stay at the dais, I assume, he just can't participate in any vote at this moment in time. Perfect, cool. Thank you for that, appreciate it. Jeremy, I'll turn it over to you.
Secret court.
Me again. Okay, so every year OLCC will send out a letter with a deadline for the local government to make any recommendations on any businesses in city limits that hold OLCC licenses that need to renew by March 31st. They give me a list of the businesses and I provide that list to the sheriff's department, who will then return with any cases or incidents that may have happened in the establishments, and I do a little snippet of what they provide me. And I've also provided you with the criteria that you need to follow per OLCC to make your recommendation. If you have no recommendation, or meaning you don't want any businesses to be withheld from their OLCC, then we just tell OLCC that everything is good. If you have a recommendation for a denial, then we get an extension where OLCC will do an investigation on that business.
may I say something?
Yeah.
So the denial has to meet criteria, however.
Yes,
Yeah, just because we don't like the way.
right. It has to meet the criteria that's provided by OLCC. Deputy Twitchell is also here if you have any questions on any of the things on here.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is Louis tasting room not in our city limits?
It is.
No, it's not.
Okay, so that's why it's not on the list. Thank you.
Louis?
I don't know the name.
Farming ones.
Her.
Gotcha. Debbie, I just have one quick follow-up to that, if I may.
Sure.
Is, the numbers that we see here, it's really just 3 locations, one with 3, one with 6, one with 8, 10 if you include noise. Is that within the realm of kind of what's normal for small towns our size in our area? Are there things that you're seeing that are in your personal, opinion, because of what you can see every day, that's beyond what's acceptable, or are we kind of just, there's stuff gonna happen at our establishments with alcohol on occasion throughout the course of the year? So I'm kind of just curious your take on that.
Yeah, my take on that is the numbers that are presented in this report are kind of within the ballpark of being normal. It's interesting to note, 16205 Southeast Peter Road is the Vintages. Obviously, they serve alcohol there. It's also a living establishment with the trailer, with the park. So a lot of these calls, again, it's not necessarily from the establishment, it's from, people in their residence.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
so there's a bigger number there, but it's kind of different than, say, the Center Street Market or Dollar General or the Bypass for that matter.
Gotcha. Okay. Any questions for the deputy? Perfect. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments around the table? Perfect. Okay.
No concerns.
Yeah, no concerns from my perspective either. And then there is no motion needed for this, so if we are all on board, then we will move on to the next.
As recommended.
No news, good news.
No news, good news. So action item 11, approval of code 1 fund use for mural by DCDA, page 325. And Jeremy, segue through.
Take it away, Rob. Well, I'm
hoping, that we can put this to rest finally. We've talked about it a few times.
Yeah, just a couple.
And so, you got the letter from, the DCDA saying what they wanted to do with the money. So, we just need a decision whether this meets our criteria or not.
If I may,
Please.
is, I wasn't sure what we were gonna do with the money, other than education. Love this. Art education, the things they get to learn about while they're doing this. But I do have one concern. I know we have talked about public murals, public art. I wanna make sure that we might have dropped it before it was finalized. I wanna make sure that if we have a public art code, we're following it. And if we did drop the ball, we need to pick it up and finish it. Because part of the discussion was, well, if we paint flowers and kittens, then we have to allow somebody else to paint stuff like a Confederate flag or, you know. So I wanna make sure, let's take this as an opportunity to make sure we have our public art regulations down, but I absolutely love this.
I do have one little quick comment on it. The timeline for completion on it, or the goal, I don't think that's. I don't think we'd make that,
In 26.
no, for the size that we're looking at, I don't think we'd be able to complete it by the end of 2026.
I will support that because I don't want it rushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's also the business, we don't have the youth advisory group together yet.
Yeah.
Then, there's a technicality.
For
A
sure.
year, do you really think it'll take more than a year, but? We're doing all good.
It's a big,
Can I ask a question? So I noticed we have a mural on the side of the city hall building here.
Yep.
How long, does anyone know how long that took to create?
That's a good question. We can find the answer.
Cause that could help dictate how long that one would take.
It's a good question. We can definitely find the answer. Real quick though, I wanted to make sure that Councilor Tycro was able to get through everything that he said.
yeah,
Okay, cool.
that was it.
I just wanna make sure, we didn't say way over, so I just wanted to make sure. But no, that's very well said. Do we have that information easily available or do we need to look at it?
What?
The mural on the side.
How
of
long
City
it took
Hall?
to paint it?
Yeah, just out of curiosity. The timeline
A
was.
weekend.
A weekend,
So
cool.
that was about a weekend and
It's just
how, about how long in
Planning.
planning?
Yeah.
Probably a
That's the
week
thing.
prior at least, you know.
A week,
Uh,
Per se, yeah.
yeah.
This
Maybe a little bit of.
So- It could be done within the year of 2026, on the side of that building being a bigger mural.
Yeah.
If this took, 1 week to plan out and then a weekend to paint.
I'm sure it took longer than a week to find out,
Oh, yeah.
having been involved in such things.
Yeah.
It's like painting a set, and it takes a lot, but it is doable with it.
Okay. Why do you think it's not doable within a year, Chris?
I just don't want the expectation to be 2026 and we roll into 2027.
Yeah,
Can we hit a goal? Can we keep a goalpost in 26? So it's like, we're gonna aim for X being that. If we don't hit it, we don't wanna rush it, but we still wanna try to aim for it. Is that realistic?
Yeah, we try to aim for it,
Okay.
certainly.
Cool.
Yeah.
That way it's not one of those like, we're coming back in January and everybody's like, okay, what's going on? Like, we thought there was gonna be this, but we can still have a deadline that we wanna try to hit. And then if we find hurdles along the way, then, okay, we have a secondary,
Yeah.
deadline after that. That's like, if we need to push it, that's okay.
Mhm.
Do you think that's a fair compromise?
That is a fair compromise, yes.
Excellent.
cool, man.
Please.
Are we fully funded for this, or are we gonna do some fundraising for it?
This is money that was left.
Right, but is this money gonna be sufficient for the
Oh.
project, is what I'm really asking.
The budgeting on this has not even begun yet, which is another reason why I make my comment.
Okay, okay, that's what I wanted to know.
That construction.
Yeah.
Well said. Would you be able to bring an updated timeline to us in a future meeting?
Yeah, we'll have discussion at tomorrow night's meeting at
Love
the
it.
DCGA.
Cool, that sounds great. Thank you. Really appreciate that.
So just point of clarification, the money that we assign to the DCVA to use for education is starting their funding for a year. Would you say that is fair to say?
That is a fair statement, yes.
It could be expensive.
And some of the material is quite expensive,
Right.
especially if you want it to last a long time.
Can you remind me the amount of money that we,
It's a little over 2,000.
a little over
Yeah.
2,000? Okay, yeah. So yeah, not, definitely not the right thing. Thank you, appreciate that. Any other questions or motion?
Ready for the motions?
Love it.
I move to authorize the distribution of the remaining Dayton Code One funds for the DCVA for their Camino mural project.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Councilor Peterson and a second from Councilor Wilkins, all in favor?
All right,
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I'll just say that people I've talked to about this project are stoked.
Yeah.
Love the idea.
More art is always a good thing.
Yeah.
So action item 12, we're gonna go to the City Hall basement conditions report.
Yep.
Jeremy, hit us with the good news.
Dave has a report that he'd like to share with you.
So, I think obviously most of you are. That we had some flooding. This is nothing new. This happens typically each and every year in the winter. Unfortunately, this last time. It was pretty severe, part of it being that, we had back-to-back atmospheric storms coming through. The other reason was because as identified by the plumber that examined it is our sump pump is sufficient, but our hose line that empties out from it is very insufficient. So we would need to look at, you'll see a quote there for a price, but we would look to have to increase the size and diameter of that line and also make it so it's kind of dumps out at an exterior point of the building and collects in the right area. I enclosed, as you can see on the back of the pictures, obviously, the first one at the top is of the sump pump. And the temporary hose that was applied to that to help liquidate the water. These pictures show, I think, long-term damage. You can see on the left, that's kind of how the water got up to this particular time. The black mold has ensued over time.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
And then on the other side, and the right side, that's just, you can see where they tried to plug holes before with foam.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really do the trick. So it's an old building, we know that. We have secured a HEPA filtration system. I was in the building today, I can definitely say it's loud, but
It's very loud.
it did change everything in there. It wasn't nearly as, what's the stale smell of a
Dank.
bacon when it's dank, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the, Jeremy has considered a plan to permanently move the 3 employees from there over to this particular facility in here in the annex. That would allow us to continue to conduct city hall business without the risk of exposing people to what could be harmful long-term. Obviously, that would mean we would have to think about what we wanted to do as far as the meeting hall for the council. Perhaps that would look toward community center or something like that, but that's something that can be discussed, but this is just basically for your information and to make sure that you're aware of what is the current situation over at City Hall.
Thank you, Dave. I do want to comment on that real fast. So when we decorated the truck for the parade about a month ago, we had to go into the basement of City Hall to get lights. And I cannot overstate how just assaulting that aroma is. I mean, it was not safe to be down there for an extended period of time. I mean, the black mold in this photo, it does not do it justice. I mean, it was along an entire wall. Like, you can tell this is something that's been happening over decades long term. And so where I worry about the integrity of the wall up through, the wall system up through the floors. And okay, what's within the drywall on the main floor, what's within the drywall on the second floor. So I think there's something here that we need to address sooner rather than later. Both with regard to the sump pump as a more immediate solution to make sure it doesn't get worse, but also checking, the walls between the floors on the main and seeing what the long-term damage has been and what the long-term risk is. Because that's something that was honestly a little bit shocking when I walked in. So, these are things, we need to take, you know, the physical health of the team seriously, so, we don't want anybody sitting in that. Actually, real fast, sorry, Councilor Mackin, Councilor Peterson was first.
Yeah, I, extremely concerned about this and about those of you that work there. I am so happy that I have a library card, but I cannot spend more than about 7 minutes in the library. I'm extremely, affected by the smell of mold. And so I'm also kind of concerned about the books, to be honest, but, yes, so get the staff out of there first, and then I don't know, I need to move, it's upsetting to me, and I'm sorry that y'all have to deal with it, or that we wanna have your backs, and we don't want you to get sick.
Yeah.
So.
Is that it? Councilor Mackin?
I can just basically confirm this is. This has been a problem for as long as I've been around, a quarter of a century. And it has been a problem for city staff for a while by the time I started. So, yeah, with that long, with this mold growing over, oh,
Yeah,
yeah, get the people out of there.
yeah, that's not it. How old is that building? Out of curiosity. Okay, I'm just curious.
So there's no says they're moving the city hall employees out of there, but the library's staying. And I noticed it's all one building now,
Yeah, I have an alternative, but
you know, are we gonna do anything about the library being in there? In the meantime,
So actually, it's two buildings and the library doesn't have a basement, but you could. You could confine the library space by filling in the existing hole that. Goes
So you would
between
wall
the
it
two,
off.
right, yeah, you can wall it off.
there's a thought. At least for a temporary solution.
but I said, cause it would seem odd to just take out the city hall employees and leave the library employees in there with
Yeah.
having to deal with it.
I'd wanna make sure, since those walls are connected, that anything that maybe is transferring through the walls didn't also go into the other building.
And that's another thing there.
Yeah,
is
especially because you're.
What has seeps through from one side to the other.
Yeah, well said,
I know it's over 50 years old.
you're 50 years old, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just didn't this all used to be the
I've
old
been
fire
around that
department?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Fire department. That's cool. Yeah, lots of questions there. I wanna switch to the annex from the fire department, but I don't wanna derail us too much.
Yeah.
I'll ask those questions offline. But, okay, cool. Well, hey, we got you back, and let us know how we can help.
Good.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay, moving on to, there was no motions to this was just an update, right? Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the local option levy update, action item 13, page 329.
So this is just an update of what we have accomplished so far for the local option levy renewal. We've completed all the fall tasks. We have launched the survey online, so you can direct people to it. I also included a picture of a direct way of how to reach the website. So you, on your main website, you'll go to the city projects button, click on that, and that will take you directly to the renewal, the local option renewal webpage. And the first thing on there is the survey, so direct people to that. So that we can get as many responses as we possibly can. I think we've only gotten one in the last 2 or 3 weeks that it's been out.
So that came out with the last utility?
It came out December 1st, it launched, because it launched with the Ferry Street News printing, and there was a QR code there that people could use to get to the page and to the survey. So we've only got one response.
Is it coming out utility? So if not, I'll just go online.
I don't think,
Well, we were talking
yeah,
about
that with it.
I think it was scheduled, I'm not sure where they're at with that, because they need a 45-day lead time before it can be sent in. the utility bills, so I don't know how to.
And we're gonna be using Survey Monkey to push it out that way, which is what we did for the economic development survey, and that was pretty successful, so. That'll be actually downright this week.
I've been waiting for it in my utility bill, but I'll just go online and do it.
Yeah.
One thing that I just thought of, because you mentioned QR code, I have an extra A-frame. What could be worthwhile is for us to print an A-frame insert that can sit outside of City Hall that's double-sided. That has the QR code that talks about the levy. I mean, these things are, $50 to print. And you get a lot of foot traffic, a lot of drive traffic past City Hall. You gotta make sure nobody steals it. That's the hurdle. But there could really be because I think tactile, like, we're doing great and it's gonna go out, in the utility bill, it's gonna go out in Survey Monkey. But anything and everything, eyeballs everywhere on something like this is gonna be really important. And a big old A-frame in front of City Hall, got a big QR code on it, says, "Scan me, levy update, we have questions," what have you, you can word it way better than I can. That could be a really good way to just capture more people
Okay,
for this.
yeah, good
Be
idea.
aware that scanning codes is something a lot of people don't do, like myself, because I think somebody could go in there and post any code and people can be scanning that all day long and they can just harvest information from them. The URL code scanning, URLs are a dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, we could do like a paper copy inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something, well, yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
take one.
Yeah,
So maybe kind of multi-pronged, because there's gonna be a lot of, which is a fair assessment. There's gonna be a lot of folks that also prefer QR code, so, I think if we can hit multi-tier, and I apologize, I have to look this way in a second. Go ahead, Councilor Megan.
I just wanted to remind people that AlexaNet has covered QR codes. That can be hacked, that can be replaced. We are gonna have to keep an eye on it, find some way, I don't know. Is there some way of protecting it so it can't be hacked?
Good question.
They're hacking everything. This is just.
I won't use a QR code for it ever.
Fair.
Fair.
Cool, but A-frame idea, whatever, could be worthwhile.
yeah, we
You could
could
just
look
put
into
a,
that.
a link to the website down below.
There you go. Love it.
Yep.
Cool.
And we have a confirmed date for the town hall, February 11th. I'm just waiting for the facilities person from the school district to see if we could use their commons. Kind of have neutral ground on this town hall, and sheriff's department will be there as well
There.
on that day.
Cool. Excellent, thank you.
Mhm.
Any questions? All right, moving on. Council comments and concerns, we'll go ahead and start with Councilor Mackin.
Okay. So many people. I wanted to congratulate the city on that dog park water shut off notice. It was fun to read, which made it engaging. It was wonderful to read something like that. Made me think I was reading the Sherwood Police Department. And if you haven't, I have a Facebook page. But yeah, this is how we need, this is a way to promote things. I believe it got people's attention. So kudos to people. And I wanted to ask, are the council rules available as a standalone file? I can go onto the webpage and find the charter. I can't find the council rules. You sent the file to me, but that email disappeared.
lost. I'll
It
I'll
would
post
be,
them online and I'll send you a link.
the LOC has recommended that we review the council rules before every meeting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
On something that came up about these adjustments we've been making recently. Our water only had to go up a very little bit. Which means we weren't that far behind on water. We had a big increase in sewer and we are underwater on the levee. But it seems to me like the water increase was pretty much what it would have been had we continued doing that $1 or $2 every year. Water once, sewer once. We have been talking about that. I am recommending that we go back to that. But what I was seeing is that we were pretty close on our water rates. We were charging what we needed to, but we went just a little too long without an adjustment recently. So that I took as good news. And I think that'll do it for tonight.
Mr. Baker,
I got nothing tonight.
Mr. Wilkins?
No,
Okay, I got a few things. So I got a couple things to relay from the mayor, and then I got a couple of my own. So the mayor would like to relay that there are some potholes on Church Street near her residence that are getting bigger, similar to the one next to the Pirates Den. And then she would also like to bring up a tree ordinance, and then to see if we can research policies on tree trimming, approval before removal, especially of well-established trees. And just to see if other towns near us have tree ordinances, what they look like, what we could model something off of, because we don't currently have one.
I think Portland have.
Portland has one, yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was curious if Mac would. So she was just wondering if that's something that we could look into and see if there are options for us to, just try to protect some of our local ecosystem. So she wanted to relay that, and that's her two things. And then I just have one, in addition to the levy town hall, I think I've been thinking about this for a little bit, and both with like conversations with the community, with conversations we've had on here. I think we need a town hall, with regard to the new, both water increases, the sewer increases, and the levy, utility fee. I think there's just so much data here over the last few decades. I feel like we've been talking about this month in, month out, ever since I've joined council back, what, now it's gonna be 4 years ago, this coming year. So, there's so many things we've talked about, there's so many changes that have been made, especially with like new councilors, there's been a lot of good questions. And then even, today as well, there's, a little bit of, I thought we did this, well, I thought we did this. And I think what I'd like to see is a digestible packet of, this is the history, this is what we're doing. And then I would like to see, and that can be disseminated for us, and that's maybe something that we can even push forward to, the public as well. But I would like to see us have a town hall. And I know that there's the time wait that we have to do from now to being able to have a town hall. What was it, like 45 days, something like that? What was the recommendation? I can't quite remember. But anyway, I'd like to see us have a town hall where we can answer a lot of these questions, because it seems like there's a lot of good questions. There's a lot of misinformation, but not like at all misinformation. There's just a lot of information, and it's hard and it's easy to get some of that stuff mixed up. So I'd like to see that take place if that's a possibility, and if that's an interest amongst council, quite frankly. But when we did the town hall last time, we were talking about our water options. I think that was really great. There was a lot of good questions that came up. We were talking short term, near term, long term. That was really, really beneficial. I think everybody walked away, maybe not necessarily happy at some of the answers, but understood the answers, and I think that's really the goal. But there's been a lot of changes since then, so I think circling back is a good idea, but with regard to the price point as opposed to kind of the disruptive side of it.
May I say something
please.
regarding that?
Yeah.
I think that the biggest thing that I was concerned about is not implement it.
I don't know if that's you.
No, I don't know, but was what the future is gonna bring regarding that.
Yeah.
I think there's a certain amount of fear and discomfort about, okay, here's a big jump, and we're gonna see big jumps all the time now, and I think that if we can speak to what the plan is, and even if there are gonna be jumps, and we have to do this in order to function, I think people. Nice to see you. I think that if we just talk about it ahead of time in a real matter of fact. Sort of factual, let's talk about it way, then I think that the understanding helps alleviate the fear. And knowing what the plan is gives us some preparation to think about it, And maybe, it's reinventing the wheels of something we really wanna do. But if somebody has a great idea that we hadn't thought of before. I would hope we would entertain something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, Jeremy, do you think this is possible? B, council, do we want to pursue something like this?
Yes.
I would. Since Councilor Mackin started out, we'll go to council question first. Councilor Tucker, would you be in favor of something like this?
I would.
I would.
Yeah, so.
And it's really, if it's possible, and Jeremy.
Absolutely. So. Our, what we call our Watertown Hall. Last year was in April. And that was triggered by the curtailment and all the stuff around that. I believe around the April timeframe. To say we're gonna have a check-in 1 year later with the community on where do we stand with things.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
beautiful.
Do you think that leaving, well, if we're gonna have the public, so the levy town hall's coming up. If we address the public safety fee at that town hall, do you think we could leave it out of the water town hall and kind of do two birds? Because we're kind of, the concern is just the fees at large, right? So we've got the public safety fee and we've got the water fee and we've got the sewer rate increase, right? And so I think we want to address all three of those things. But do you think it's appropriate to bring up the public safety fee at the water town hall, or should that be at the levy town hall?
Yes.
Where it's like, hey, this is the interim, this is the goal, and then we can separate that out, and then at the water town hall check-in, then we address the other two of the three.
Yeah,
primary
they're completely separate.
No, love that, I just wanna make sure that we're, all in line. Okay, and everybody's okay with that as idea?
Yeah,
Okay, cool, Jeremy, you good to action that?
Yeah, and an April timeframe also coincides with budget season. By that point, we'll be deep into our work on the budget and may have some preliminary numbers and trends that we can share with the community at that time.
Cool.
So that's what I would suggest.
Excellent. Do you need a motion on this, or is direction good?
No, I'll just get started planning and come to the council February timeframe or so, and we can firm up a date and further details.
Cool, thank you, appreciate it, everybody. That is all that I have, Councilor Peterson.
Yeah, I wanna say I really loved being a greeter at the Santa breakfast, and it was a really fun event, and good job. Kudos to everybody that did planning on that. That was really good community event.
My daughter loves her raccoon, by the way. Oh, little stuffed raccoon, and she carries that thing everywhere, that was awesome. Cool, so that's the best thing, sorry to interrupt, that's awesome.
That was a lot of fun. Just FYI, Kitty and Chris and I met with Principal Robin Van Buren in December to discuss the YAC, the Youth Advisory Committee, and kind of trying to get the ball rolling. She was gonna touch base with the staff person there that would then get some kids anyway. So the info has been shared, and she thought it all sounded really like an exciting idea to get kids involved with us here. So. This is my 1 year anniversary of being a council person, and I just want to say thank you to this, people, my friends say, well, how's it going, because I've been a face in McMinnville for a long time, with my work in the school district, but this is new, being on the city council, and my answer to them is, it is such a great group of people that care so much about Dayton. And I really mean that, so thank you to you, for what you've done and for what we're doing, and it was a rough year, it was a, wow, thrown in the deep end kind of year for me and even for Jeremy, who pulled us through it, so thank you, Jeremy, for being such a strong leader, kind and calm and humble, but amazing, so thank you for that. Awesome. And then my last thing kind of connects with that. Jeremy, I feel, has been doing all of this extremely underpaid. And I'm concerned about that because we can't afford to lose him. So I would like to, we need to approach a budget. And see, I would like to give Jeremy a raise because he's so underpaid by comparison to the other people in this valley, in the doing the job, and he's doing 5 times the job of any other city manager in this county. So, I feel like we need to find some more money. I don't know where we come from, and that's not a conversation we can have now. But I don't wanna lose, we need you at the helm, so. That, I was concerned about that when I started seeing those comparisons of, and I thank you for not bailing on us when the going got tough. So thank you for that. Thanks to everybody. Also,
I just kind of had a New Year's, just a quickie, I was here before, over a year ago, and then I left, and then I'm back, and. And I just wanna say, how much I am impressed and enjoy the differences between the time that I was here before. It's not that I had a bad experience, not at all. I enjoyed the people that I was with, and most of you guys were here then, and a lot of you were anyways. But just the way the format, we come in, everything's prepared. I mean, it may be a little bit lengthy sometimes if we wanna read every last thing of it. It's like homework I've gotta read. It's like going to nursing school where you
I
get
always say that.
500 pages of reading a week, but I really like the fact that we can have informed discussion regarding the facts that are in front of us and the fact that the answers are so forthcoming from the people involved, and it's nice. It's a nice thing.
Well said. Good to have you back. Oh, got the warm fuzzies. Cool. So, okay, so that's counselor comments and concerns. We're going on to the information reports, finance to kick things off.
Yeah, is there any questions, on any of the goals?
Mhm. Okay, good.
Thanks for, implementing new rates and doing all the work we get on that done.
We did have at the Christmas party, we recognized, an employee as employee of the year. And I do wanna say that she did a lot of the work on it. Ricky.
That was a fun party.
I really appreciate the, follow-ups, the activities from this month and then the upcoming plans. That transparency is really appreciated and really good to see.
I love this format.
Format's really good.
Yeah.
Cool. Any questions, comments on finance? You're good. Moving to library report.
No questions from here.
So we wanna, is there anything to talk about as other report, or is it primarily a question? Because we can kind of bucket everything and just say, does anybody have any questions? Unless there's something that we wanna talk about in particular.
Well,
I'm good to go one by one if you want.
I like a line by line trip. It doesn't take
Love that.
long. That way everybody gets their.
Yeah.
Perfect. Public works report. Any questions?
Sounds good, so.
Man, that's a lot
Lot
of
of work.
Yeah. Now you know why Don's not here, he's too tired.
Yeah.
We got Christmas lights down today.
Oh, they went down today? Been postponing going.
On the 12th day of
I
Christmas.
know, seriously, I've been postponing going to take a picture of that. That's it, that's it. And if no questions, then we are going on to the city reporters report.
No, not yet. No, we're not gonna skip that.
It's old stuff.
Let's do it. Yeah, fine, you did record it.
No, there's his.
But yeah.
Yeah.
December. Thank you, Rocio, for being my go-to whenever I have questions.
Yeah, I will say Bob was a great stand-up.
Yeah, you did good, I'm glad.
yeah, you heard.
I'll make sure to relay that to him.
Oh, and, the elephant, I would like to talk about it before we do Breakfast with Santa again. I am personally recommending that we update our reading selection. the night before Christmas is just kind of, it's a little too long to hold attention. And I would like to see us switch things up a little bit and find one short classic book. But I'll tell you, Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer, there's some bullying going on there. I'm just not happy with that message.
Polar Express is a nice.
Well, that might be one, but let's switch that up a bit. And we need to find a way of getting the audience to behave. People would not be quiet, they just kept on talking, even when we said we wanted to read, even when we were reading. We just talking and, we gotta find a way, we need to rethink that slightly.
Deputy Twitchell just stands in the back.
Or, find a Christmas story that will, interest the adults too.
True.
But maybe if we talk about a few little things that could be tweaked before next time, that would be helpful.
Good, great, that's good feedback, thank you. Cool. We are good, we're gonna go on to the tourism and economic development.
Yay. Yes, sir.
I have a couple questions, Dave.
Yeah.
One, do you want band names that go to you? Are those the bands that are on stage on Friday nights?
Yeah. Yeah, you can certainly provide anything. I mean, the tribute theme was kind of something to try to draw outside. Attendance as well, make it interesting. The best example I gave was the Elvis night. I mean, we had people from Salem, we had people from Portland that come down for that.
Everybody loves that.
And, but yeah, certainly you can share anything you have.
Okay, will do. And then second question, what's the Chardonnay celebration?
Oh, yeah.
It's been going on for years.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's centered up in, Allison has been hosting it over
Oh,
the
okay.
years. But we're expanding it now to be countywide.
Oh.
So the list of writers that they're looking to bring in, this travel ordinance behind them as well, is impressive. And so we are, as we have insight into that, we will certainly get some people in here that will be influential. So it's pretty exciting to be able to see it branch out and not just be held up in Newburgh and so forth.
Should ask you that wine guy, but Chardonnay is spelled wrong.
Sorry.
We would expect you to correct.
Yeah.
It should be that one. Good job.
I have a note about Elvis.
Mhm.
There was a woman in a wheelchair who came from Eugene to see him.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I didn't have time to get the backstory, but she was from Eugene. And she had a hot pink electric wheelchair. It was
Made you jealous.
almost, I still like this model better. She just stepped in the square, but yeah, that was cool. Eugene,
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
So the Dayton wine and business map, if there are new businesses going in downtown that would be applicable to that map, do we need to wait until they go in?
Well, we're not really doing every business, so we're just featuring the hotel, these restaurants, and then after that, it's gonna be significant like City Hall, Dayton Landing. Yeah, that kind of thing.
It's really like Dayton hospitality map.
Yeah, I mean, they did it in McMinnville and they specifically didn't do it with a lot of people because of that reason, because you've got people coming and going all the time.
True,
So now then it dates itself.
yeah. Okay. When should we see an update on the temporary city hall accommodations?
Well, I think that kind of comes down, I think we've already begun discussing it, and so I would think you'll have something back from Jeremy in the next, I would say this month for sure.
Yeah. Excellent, okay, just wanted to touch base on that.
Anybody know why the musician didn't show up to Fridays? Thought they were banned.
That. On that note, we're gonna go to the next one.
Sour note.
It's really.
City Manager's Report, 2026 budget calendar.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, figure, I mean,
First, I'd like to recognize and thank our city team for all of their efforts this past holiday season, putting up decorations, putting on the breakfast with Santa, just all of the amazing things that we did to bring the community better together. Everybody at this table played a role in that. Everybody on the city team who's not here tonight played a role in that, and I just want to recognize them for how they came together. I also want to recognize our employee of the year, Ricky Howarth. She was recognized at our employee Christmas party. She got a very nice plaque from the mayor that talked about all of the things that she's done for us this year. As Rob mentioned, she played an instrumental role in helping us update our fees this year. She also worked with me closely on the budget. I couldn't have prepared the information that I prepared on the rates without her, so want to recognize her. Moving on to my report, we held a kickoff with GSI on the Fisher Farms Development Project. There's a Gantt chart after my report that gives a project schedule. They conducted a site visit. They did some preliminary sampling. They're also working on the initial plan review for submission to the Oregon Health Authority. We have our next monthly meeting next week with GSI. One issue that we're going to talk about is, as I know, the 100-foot perpetual easement. So for each well, you draw a radius and draw a circle around that. It's got to be 100 feet to guarantee that people aren't dumping things into the well where it drains. So we're going to have to figure that out. Yes.
so does that include a roadway right away? Because we have some wells that are right on the road.
It does not, but for that one, there's one well where the 100-foot extends past the well and part of it touches somebody's property. But to your question, no,
Okay.
it does not include roads. So I'll be keeping you informed on that. I held a meeting with the building official for the city of Newburgh. We started some conversations on updating our building fees. Right now, the general fund subsidizes a part of our building program. We need to separate that out into its own fund and make the building fund self-sustaining so that the general fund, with all its pressures, isn't subsidizing our building program. So I've started those conversations. We also talked about some process improvements, and we also talked about coordinating on potential dangerous building issues.
Good.
I had several community contacts. Those are summarized in my report. I had some discussions with Business Oregon on sustainable infrastructure planning. I previously reported that to you as a way to bring a consultant on board to talk about some of these long-range water issues that we have. The bad news is that they're not going to open up for February because they're tapped out with funding. However, I've had some discussions with them on some low-interest loan options that could help us get this started. So before I go any further with that, I'll bring that to you for further discussion. So I want us to get the ball rolling on this spring.
Those are feasibility studies.
Those are feasibility studies. So it looks at potentially buying out Lafayette from joint Wellville, tying into Mac Water and Light. This provides the 5, 10, 20-year look that you're talking about, that the community needs to understand our strategy. And it also tells what the rates need to be to support those strategies. So we'll figure out something to make that happen this year. I'm going to start working on a facilities needs study for City Hall. We talked about flooding. Our financial statement audit is underway. Rob's been doing amazing work keeping up with their documents that they've requested. I informed you at the last meeting that there would be an appeal on a land use application for January 8th with the applicant's consent. That's gonna be postponed pending further conversations.
The hotel.
Correct. I'm working on several franchise renewals. Other activities, Mayor Frank, Council President, Rob, Dave and I met with the school district in December to give them an update on the urban renewal agency. We're just gonna plan on doing that every year to be a good neighbor, to be transparent. And there's some other activities that you can read in my report. What questions do you have for me? Yes.
It's about the budget calendar. Once again, we have 3 different meetings, all scheduled to start at 6:30. I think that would be confusing to people who want to come and join our meetings. What we've done in the past, leads me to recommend we start with the urban renewal budget meeting at 6:30 for 10 or 15 minutes, because it's not gonna look that long. Then we do, well, for the first week, we do our budget committee meeting, say at 6:45 to 7:15. That's all we normally need for the first meeting. Then we start our council meeting at like 7:15 or something like that. But specific start times for all 3 meetings, the short ones first. Having 3 meetings start all at the same time isn't even physically possible, and it just doesn't feel right to me. So I would recommend we reschedule and have 3 different starting points.
Would the council like to have the URA first or the city first?
URA goes quick.
Yeah,
Do we need to do anything to that, or just, you got it?
Yeah, we'll update that and push it out.
thank you.
Well done.
Also want to note, this past May, we didn't have any council meetings in May, right?
We had the first.
Oh,
one.
that's right, okay. Take that back. Okay, so for that first budget committee, we'll plan on like an hour. And then say at 7:15, we're going into city council. Is that what you suggested, Councilor Mackin?
I think 45 minutes for the urban renewal and the budget committee, that should be plenty.
Okay.
Yeah,
How long's the council part gonna take, do you think?
well, that starts at 7:15 and it doesn't really, now the budget committee meeting. Historically speaking, we get the document. The city manager points out some of the biggies, reads through the message. Reads stuff into the record. We're in and out of here within 20 to 30 minutes. Last year was an exception. Now, the second meeting is the long one. So, that's what we have to deal with, but, historically speaking, that first budget meeting is half an hour of that. Yeah, so, and I will say, for several years now, that second meeting, we have had a budget within 1 hour.
That explains a lot.
Well, not quite what you're thinking, but yeah, it might. We got a little, we put our trust in someone and we should have been doing just a wee bit more. Oversight, asking a few more questions. So,
I don't need to go down that path right now, but.
Yeah.
no,
Good, good thoughts, Steve. Thank you.
We'll make those changes.
there is one typo. Let's see, page 351, the urban renewal AAGENCY budget calendar. 2 A's. Not a big deal, but I just noticed that. It looks weird. Age. Anyway, that's it.
Cool, thank you. Anything else, city manager?
Not at this time, but
Cool. Council, any other questions, comments, concerns?
So clarify the next time, sorry, the next time that we are meeting is January 20th,
Yes.
6:30, right?
Yes, and there will be the executive session at that moment. Anybody who has not finished their assessment, the city manager's assessment, you have 72 hours. Get it in. It was due a couple weeks ago. Yes.
Due on the 22nd.
Okay, I do have a question. I received an email that talked about a response. Um. This is from your Christmas Eve. I got the email that said the mayor has responded to your submission. I have never seen anything like that before. Did other people get that?
I think it's just when, if there's like it's like if you respond like an emoji or something like that, it just.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, I got something to say, I assume it just meant she's seen it.
Yeah, it's just an acknowledgement.
Was there a URL?
No, I just sent David about it.
I didn't even open it because I had just finished some cybersecurity training when that came in.
No, hey, you're good. Okay, well, before we break, we all good, all set? Cool.
One last thing.
Yes, please.
So the siren's dead?
Sorry, what?
No more siren?
Oh, we didn't hear it.
I have not heard the siren in quite a while.
We haven't.
Weeks and.
Oh, let's take a look at that.
Oh, the siren here for,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, it's going.
It's going? Okay,
Oh, we must not have had a whole lot of calls, cause I really haven't heard it.
Yeah, we actually haven't had that many calls.
okay. Slow down here. Cool, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All right, we are adjourned at 8:33 PM.